was once a lion whose roar could shake the entire forest. When he stood upon Pride Rock at sunrise and released his mighty voice into the wind, birds exploded from trees, monkeys froze in silence, and even the river seemed to tremble. Every animal respected him. Some admired him. Many feared him. And over time, the lion began believing fear and respect were the same thing. His name was King Zubari, and he ruled the forest with pride too heavy for wisdom to survive beside it. At first, Zubari had not always been cruel. In his younger years, he listened to the elders, protected weaker animals, and settled disputes fairly. But power changed him slowly, the way drought slowly steals life from grasslands. The more the animals praised him, the more he desired control. The more they bowed, the more he enjoyed watching them lower their heads. Among all the creatures in the forest, there lived an old elephant named Tembo. His skin carried the marks of many seasons, and his eyes held the calmness of someone who had seen generations rise and disappear. Whenever conflicts threatened the forest, animals often visited. Tembo quietly for advice before approaching the king himself. This secretly bothered Zubari. How can an old elephant command such respect without fear? He once complained to his gods. They listened to him as if he wears the crown. One dry season, when water became scarce and tensions grew among the animals, Zubari gathered the entire forest beneath the giant baobab tree. Lions stood proudly beside him while the other animals formed nervous circles around the gathering ground. Tembo slowly stepped forward and bowed respectfully. "My king," the old elephant said gently, "the river near the eastern plains is shrinking. If we continue fighting over territory, many animals will suffer before the rains return. We must share what remains peacefully." But Zubari was already irritated by the elephant's calm voice and the attention others gave him. "Listen to yourselves," the lion suddenly growled loudly. Every season this old elephant speaks as though he rules the forest. The crowd became uncomfortable. Tembo lowered his eyes. "I only speak for the good of everyone." Zubari circled him slowly. "For the good of everyone. Or because you enjoy hearing your own wisdom?" The lions beside him laughed. "Look at you, old, slow, weak, your time has passed." A painful silence spread across the gathering. Even the wind seemed to stop moving. Tembo looked at the lion carefully before speaking again. "Strength is a dangerous thing when humility leaves the heart." The lion smirked. "And wisdom is useless when it comes from those too weak to matter." Then Zubari did something no king had ever done before. He roared directly into the old elephant's face while the entire forest watched. The sound thundered across the land. Some animals flinched in fear, others lowered their heads in sadness. Tembo stared quietly at the lion for a long moment. Then he turned and slowly walked away without another word. That night, the forest felt strangely uneasy. The moon hid behind heavy clouds. Hyenas did not laugh. Birds remained silent in their nests. Even Zubari struggled to sleep, though pride refused to let him admit the discomfort growing inside him. Before sunrise, he climbed Pride Rock, as he always did to announce his authority to the forest. He inhaled deeply, opened his mouth, and nothing came out. Zubari froze. He tried and came harder. Only a broken rasp escaped his throat. Fear gripped him instantly. For the first time in many years, the mighty lion felt powerless. At first, he hid the truth. He avoided public gatherings and communicated through his guards. When animals approached, he used angry expressions and violent paw strikes to maintain fear. But secrets never stay hidden long inside a forest full of watching eyes. The monkeys noticed first, then the hyenas. Soon whispers spread everywhere. The king cannot roar. The mighty lion has lost his voice. The forest is changing. Without his roar, something else slowly disappeared too. Fear, the zebras no longer scattered immediately when he walked by. The baboons mocked him from distant trees. Even smaller predators ignored his commands during disputes over territory and food. Every day, Zubari became more angry. And every day the forest respected him less. One afternoon, the lion cornered a group of antelopes near the river simply because they failed to bow quickly enough. But when he attempted to roar at them, only silence emerged again. The antelope stared, one of them accidentally laughed. The humiliation burned through Zubari like fire. That evening, he sat alone beside the dried grasslands, staring at his reflection in muddy water. For the first time in years, he saw not greatness but loneliness. Days later, danger arrived. Hunters entered the forest carrying fire and weapons. Smoke spread through the trees as frightened animals ran in confusion. Usually, one roar from the king would warn the entire forest instantly. But Zubari could not roar. Panic spread everywhere. Animals crashed into one another trying to escape. Mothers lost their young birds, scattered blindly into smoke-filled skies. Then through the chaos, a deep familiar voice rose above the confusion. Tembo, the old elephant, moved through the forest with calm authority, guiding animals toward hidden paths near the wetlands, where hunters could not follow easily. He instructed buffaloes to shield smaller creatures. He sent birds ahead to watch the hunters' movements. He organized the forest not with fear but with wisdom. And slowly, the animals survived because they trusted him. Zubari watched everything silently. For the first time, he understood something painful. The elephant had never needed a roar to become powerful. After the hunters finally disappeared, the exhausted animals gathered near the river at sunset. Tembo stood quietly among them while injuries were treated and families reunited. Then suddenly the lion approached. The entire forest became tense. But this time, Zubari did not walk with pride. He lowered his head before the old elephant. "I was wrong," he said softly, his broken voice barely stronger than wind. "I thought leadership meant making others fear me. I believed power made me greater than everyone around me. But when danger came, fear could not save the forest, wisdom did." The animals stared in shock. A king had never apologized publicly before. Tembo studied the lion's face carefully. Then he nodded slowly. "The strongest leaders," the elephant said gently, "are not those who humiliate others. They are those humble enough to learn." Zubari closed his eyes, and for the first time in many years, pride loosened its grip on his heart. Then suddenly, something deep inside his chest awakened. The lion inhaled sharply, and when he opened his mouth again, a mighty roar burst across the forest, stronger than thunder itself. Birds rose into the sky. Animals froze. The sound rolled across rivers, trees, and distant hills. But this roar felt different. It no longer carried arrogance. It carried responsibility. From that day forward, Zubari ruled differently. He listened more than he spoke. He protected instead of humiliating. And whenever younger lions became too proud of their own strength, he told them the story of the season he lost his roar. Because sometimes the greatest lesson a leader can learn is that respect earned through wisdom will always outlive fear. Force through power